Come get your money. Paylake Carp fishing with Donald Barrow. Hi, this is Donald Barrow. Come get your money. Gonna talk carp fishing tackle. Last week I made a video about reels, and next on the list is rods. Been looking forward to this because rods. Um, I was never satisfied with a rod. Um, Always wanted something different. There are tons of rods. I made a comment in the video, and I mean this. When I started out, guys were taking high-end bass rods, flipping rods, anything to be different, I think, um, than from the norm. The norm back in when I started out was uh, bionic blades is what they were called, uh, made by Bass Pro Shop. They're not the same anymore. It's a different fiber band on the blank. It's not a bad blank by any means, but it's by far not the best value in my opinion. The old blanks had, I don't know, more boron or something in them, and they had a cork handle, and they were what I consider the perfect buffalo rod. 7'6", light, fast, strong, uh, but again, very seldom do you see those. And if you do, usually the eyes, because the eyes were the weakest point of that rod, are messed up and they've had some kind of repair. Uh, I started with the graphite rod. Again, you saw a lot of those. They changed the formula, but they were on sale. That you could get them down for like 34 bucks. The 4th of July sale a couple of years ago, or not a couple of years ago. It's been back a lot farther than that. But I couldn't cast them the distance. They were 7'6", heavy, and lo and behold, it was probably my reels I was using. In fairness, and they're a decent rod. Again, they don't have any kind of quality. The seats, they loosen, they lock up. You'll break guides if you got to be pretty careful with them. I upgraded, or thought I was upgrading. I went to the uh, musky, I think it was 8-foot version, extra stiff, and I continue to have problems. Actually, yeah, I don't know. I think it was designed for big, heavy, musky baits, but I had trouble. And I went to 13 fishing. I made a huge mistake. Uh, there, uh, there are several line, but it's their cheap line. I think it's the Fate uh, line. It's not the Fate. The Fate line, that green rod, they broke. Everybody that bought those, you don't even see them at the lake anymore. Uh, it's their lower end line that is one of the favorites. Uh, it had guide issues as well. Uh, the rod is stiff. I had the biggest mistake I made is I got it in the it's the Defy, and I got it in the 7'6", uh, medium heavy instead of heavy, and I could throw the weight, a 1 ounce weight on that rod across the pond. Put bait on it in the medium heavy action. Um, it was like a bullwhip, and it was real hard to keep bait on. And I say that and believe it. I'm 100% positive that what it was is because I upgraded, and that problem went away. And I'll tell you, the upgrade I made is a rod that I never thought I would have to replace. And I have upgraded, but I'll tell you why. This rod here, I'm getting out, is a Daiwa RG6, uh, RG6, Glass Tex. I don't know, it's just an RG6. Uh, you normally see these in purple, Bass Shack, or in where's that, Shelby King up in the mountains. They had a bunch of these rods painted green, And when I first saw them, they weren't as popular. And then they sold out, and then everybody wanted them. So they came out with the chromatic, the basic color UCR G6s, and then it's kind of a purplish, blackish, chromatic color. It's the same rod, uh, but uh, this is the most popular rod in carp fishing. And what I say about carp fishing is you don't want the $300 frog rod or pitching rod or flipping rod that they use in bass fishing. They go up to $500. And I've seen them out there, but it's absolutely, you're not going to cast better. And it's the backbone that these have, and it's the ability that you can fish them 6 to 7 days a week, uh, 365 days a year, which guys do here in North Carolina. And you can throw them in the back of the truck at 2 o'clock in the morning and know that you're ready to go. Uh, my rod's all dinged up, uh, but and I still use this rod, but it's not my preference. I'll go a little further on that. Little side note: this isn't one of those limited Carolina uh, edition Daiwas that were painted special. Um, to be frank, one winter it was 32 degrees. I wanted to go fishing. I was below that. It was like 27 or something. I'm sitting in my little man cave, which is just a side shack on my garage. And the next thing you know, I'm reading about a catfish guy that fluorescently paints his rods uh, so they can glow in the dark. Next thing you know, I'm at Lowe's, I'm at Ace Hardware getting the exact paints, and I'm sanding, I'm taping off the guides, uh, I'm putting on a white uh, coat and then covering it over with green. Uh, and then like a lacquer or a clear coat. Yeah, I did it on one rod for about a week. I was paranoid that I ruined the action or something, so I casted against my other rods. Could absolutely see or feel no different, and so I did all my rods, 5 of them. I fished next to a guy who had the real deals, and uh, I told him what I did, and he said he couldn't believe it. He took his rod, and it turned out much better than I deserved. I did it with spray cans. Um, the only thing I can say, and even though I put like clear coat on it, there are chips all over this paint, and I can say it's probably saved the rod because I'm horrible with rods. Um, but that's what it is. It's a carp rod. Uh, I I upped my game about a year ago, and I got some rods from Ron Matthews. He had sent me some test rods. I didn't like them. We went back and forth. He sent me these, and I wasn't really thrilled. I really uh, these are wicketed. I don't know if they have a name. They're just wicketed rods. Um, Once he got the version right, I don't think he needs to change. He might have upgraded. There may be one that has higher end blank, uh, but there was a lot of things I saw on this that I wasn't too thrilled about. But I went 180 on this. You know, the thing that I like about this that's an upgrade over my RG. And let me stop. I say an upgrade. The RG is still the best money for your money if you're new to carp fishing rod. But if you want to upgrade, I'm going to tell you why I like this better. Agree or disagree, but that could be blasphemy because there are guys that swear by these, and I was one of them because you cannot beat the value. I think this is an 8 foot. They make a 7.6 and an 8 foot. This is an extra heavy. My new rod is heavy, uh, uh, and they're both fast action. This may be extra fast, but it may be fast action. And I'll tell you the differences. The first difference is in the handle. and you're not going to see the difference as well. Uh, the RG handle is bigger than this Wicked handle. And when I got the RG, and mine is wore quite a bit. I've got 4 years or so on this, and I it's worn. Uh, I looked at ways to sand this when I got it. I also looked at ways to replace it. I was going to replace it with some wind grip uh, handles. You couldn't put tape on there because then it'd really make it too thick. But I was going to go crazy and put $30 worth of wind grips on a $60 rod. That's how crazy I was. But I love the rods. Uh, Two other upgrades. Well, there's more, but another upgrade to this rod is RGs don't have horrible guides, but you will break them. Where you break them, they don't bend. They hold up great. They don't bend too much. I have bent them. You just bend them back. They're fine. But they have this ceramic insert, and that ceramic insert is notorious. Got to get some light on there for breaking. The very first one I bought, I walked out, I fished it the first night, and I had a busted insert. It was at Carlton's, they replaced it. I was lucky. But you know, it always had me wary. I haven't really broke one since, but I stay wary. The other thing, and my biggest gripe about an RG rod, um, you know, and quite honestly, if I was throwing these now, I would have just fixed them because I didn't realize how easy it would be to fix. The RG rod, it really thins down. It's a thick rod all the way through. And then if you see my rod that's thin all the way through, the RG actually thins down to a thinner tip, which is cool. I think it gives it a great action. But that tip, in this shortness right here in the on the tip, the line catches. It's it's a minor nuance, but the line catches. When you put your bait on and you're walking to go throw it, if you don't check this, I get every time you throw, I guarantee 1 out of 3 times you'll follow the line, the tip of the line up here. You'll end up casting into a 2 foot cast, and you'll be rebaiting because and you'll be embarrassed, and you'll be mad because you knew what you did, you didn't check it. And uh, it's worse now because I fish with these and they have that protection and no catch point, uh, and so I never have to check it. And so then I'll be fishing with these, and I'll throw one of these for my short rod, and sure enough, I'll forget to check it. So it's an annoyance, and uh, again, the RG rod's a great rod. I prefer the 8 foot. Um, One other knock, and I'll get to that in a second, but I'll put this aside. I'll talk about this wicketed rod just a little bit here. Um, I'll tell you, let that go. I hated this. Two things I hated, and I ended up loving. Well, 3 things. The best thing is the guides. They don't have that ring in it. They're super heavy duty, and they're smooth. Every bit as smooth as the RGs. I say they're smoother. I think they are. It really is a good cast. And anybody disagrees with me can come throw my rod. I have no problem with that. In fact, I'll put a salesman hat on, and it's not really a salesman. I'm just proud to be throwing these. They come with this aluminum seat, and that was my first grief. It's like, why do I need that? Sure it's light, but so is the plastic or whatever material the IG has in it. But I tell you the thing that I appreciate now, because I'm always, doing videos and I'm popping off my reels, I'm adding line, uh, changing things around. Even tonight, I'm popping off my reels again. Uh, when you've had your reel's on for a month and you go to pop them off, and the next thing you know, you're monkeying around to get the thing off. These off and on easy. And I know that's a little thing. It makes little difference, but it's like it's enough difference to me to say, hey, this is better. You know, it's as simple as that. It's better, it's lighter, it's better. You know, how much lighter? Probably insignificant. This handle, I hope this shows well. When I got this, I hated it. You know, when I saw it, I hated it. You know, after the first night, I was like, I didn't even notice that it felt good in the hand. And I've come to love it for one reason. Uh, I had cork, and everybody told me cork, cork, cork. And I'm going to make people mad at this. Yeah, cork, you know, if that's your preference, that's your preference. But for me, I get wet hands. I'm horrible about washing them. My most important thing I do is keep that bait packed and get it out there fast. I don't fool around. And so my handles, they look like this. There's millet on there. There's probably oats on there. And I washed it before, and I'll wash it again before I fish. But this is just after one fishing trip. But in the middle of the night, I'm not worried about washing my handle, you know. And I had plenty of times when I had cork, or I had that, you know, there's all kinds of foam, and that stuff's even worse. I mean, it gets slippery, you know, wet foam gets slippery. I know there's some that, you know, guys would swear to. That's why wing grips, you know, that's why guys put wing grip on, is so when it gets wet, you got a grip, and that's huge. Um, Comfort wise, you know, I thought this looks like razor blades. Why would I want something like this? But it doesn't feel bad. It feels pretty good. But more important to me is it's thinner, and the grip is second to none. I guess that's why I see these on catfish rods. I always thought they looked hideous, but I see now why they go to it. And it's thinner. And for me, I like I like the thinner feel. So this was, I didn't expect the benefit, but this was great. Um, okay, I have another rod behind me, and I tell you why I had a set is for a while I was fishing out of a car, you know, and the car had a trunk, and you could put the rods through the trunk and into the front seat. I see this rod a lot with guys with SUVs. Uh, it is the Tourney Special Bass Pro Shop. It's an upgrade for those graphite rods. It's not quite the blades rod, but why these guys get this rod is that it's 7'6" and it shrinks about 8 inches, so they can put it in their SUV. I could put this through my trunk into my back seat, over by my shifter console, and I could have 4 rods. Uh, if you travel, and I know guys that come down from Pennsylvania, Dylan Glass and those guys, uh, you know, I think you know, I see them, they take apart their rods, you know, they're going into hotel rooms, and either they're carrying their rods to their hotel rooms, or they're locking them up in their SUVs. But you can't like have a truck and do that. But if I drove my diesel to Pennsylvania, you know, I better win 1,000 every time I go, because it's going to take half that just to fill the gas up. Yeah, yeah. So the guys use 7'6" rods, and they collapsible. I know some guys use 2-piece, and there's no crime in that. Uh, I don't prefer a 2-piece rod, but if you have to travel far, and that was your option, but this was the option, and I've seen plenty of big fish. This is a $50 rod. The RG76 doesn't go down as much as this when it collapses. It does go down, and it's now an option too. But these were a good $50 option. Um, One thing that shocked me was I'm fishing this Wicketed, and guys, I didn't really want to make this a brand video, but well, here it goes. Uh, this rod collapses down almost as far, like 3 inches shy of the tourney. And why I like it is it's 7'11", and it doesn't sound like much, but the guys who throw 7'6" RGs and have 8-footers, they know the 8-footer you can throw farther, easy farther. And this 7'11" throws as far as my 8-foot. I will say the 7'11" is heavy, fast, and to me that is the ideal power and flex um, that you want in a rod. Um, if you know the heavy, and they call it action, not flex, but uh, um, heavy action uh, is uh, is the way to go. It you know actually it's heavy based. Go backwards. Sorry, heavy is based on the line weight. You know they'll hold like 20-pound line. Uh, and had, 17 to 25 pounds, and extra heavy is 20 to 30. It's kind of meaningless because you're going to throw your preferred carp weight line, which is like between 15 and 20. But that's the action, the heavy part, extra heavy, a higher um, power. The action is the actual flex. And guys throw extra fast or fast. I prefer fast. Uh, I'll tell you, the medium heavy was too fast, too much whip. The extra fast, in the opinion of me, is great, but it's more of a broom when you throw it out there. And I say that I think the RG gets away with it because you saw how skinny the tip is. So you have a thick rod at the base and a little skinnier tip. And so guys throw it pretty easily. The 7'11" heavy, fast rod is it's definitely my preference. I can throw it easier as far. I don't throw it farther. I throw them almost exactly the same distance, uh, but I can throw it a lot easier. And the throw, when I throw easy, protects my bait. The harder I have to cast to get to the distance I need, the more I put the bait in risk and throwing it off. And nothing's worse than that. So. Uh, this was my rod talk. I'll say this, I've talked about 3 brands. Uh, there are some other guys uh, making rods. There was no, up until Bass Shack painted theirs and called it a Carolina Special, there wasn't a lot of manufacturers even caring about carp fishing. And now the other day, I think there's about 3 or 4 others, guys that are coming out with rods. Uh, I know that some are Kunan rods, and there's some other rods. I will say, I was told by Ron the Wicketed rod is a copy of a Browning rod. And aside from the bionic blades, the Browning was probably the most revered rod in early carp fishing, not early, I think back in the 80s. You can't see them, you can't find them, not even on Facebook. And if they are, they're old and beat the crap. So I never threw the Browning rod, so I don't know. I just know that this rod has a lot going for it. I think it's about 125 bucks. Uh, and that's I think the RG 8-foot's going for $70. So you're adding $30 for better guides, better grips, and just a preference in the way it casts. And those are all my opinions. There are plenty of guys that are going to go down with the RG, and that's their rod. That's what they're used to. And it's not about money. I mean, you go to the high roller events, and they're paying what are they paying $1,500 to enter. Uh, uh, they could buy any rods and would buy any rods if it gave them an advantage. I have no doubt of that. It's not a money thing. Uh, but if you're new, the RG, this wicketed rod that I showed you, are good choices. You're not going to be, they'll get the job done. And I realize uh, if you're new, it's a pretty big expense starting out. Uh, not It's not an expensive ride. Just about I fly fished, I bass fished, I did a lot of offshore fishing and even surf fishing, and to get a comparable rod, uh, you know, you know, not a carp rod for 125 bucks is nothing. So, but it is what it is. So, good luck, whatever you buy. I hope to see you out there. Say hi. Uh, you can disagree in the comment section. I don't mind hearing other opinions. I'm sure there's plenty, but thank you for listening to my opinions. Like and subscribe, and hope to see you on the lake. Bye now.